This is chapter 1 of the security book, Introduction to Security. There are some challenges of securing data or information. Fake antivirus attacks are responsible for half of all malware delivered by web advertising. That's increased 500% in a single year. Approximately 80% of households in the United States use the internet for managing their finances. This is up from 4% just 15 years ago. The number of malware attacks against online banking is increasing annually by almost 60,000 attacks. About 85% of banks reported they have sustained losses based on these attacks. According to a security expert at IBM's X-Force, on average, 55% of software vulnerabilities that were disclosed by vendors have not been patched. This is an increase from the previous year's 52%. Over 135 employees at 17 of the Fortune 500 companies were called on the phone by individuals participating at DEF CON hacking conference. Of the 135 employees who were called, only 5 refused to provide any corporate information or visit the unauthorized websites, and all 5 were women. The Nigerian 419 advanced fee fraud is to have stolen an estimated $41 billion from victims in this scam, with $9.3 billion lost in 2009 alone. According to Panda Security, over 20 million new specimens of malware, including new malware as well as variants of existing malware, were created between January and October of 2010. An analysis of 700,000 recorded attacks on computers in 1 week revealed that about 1 out of every 8 attacks came by USB flash drive devices. Researchers at the University of Maryland attached 4 computers equipped with weak passwords to the internet for 24 days to see what would happen. These computers were hit by an intrusion attempt on an average of once every 39 seconds, or 2,244 attacks every day, for a total of 270,000 attacks. Over 825 of the attacks were successful, enabling the attackers to access the computers. The mobile security company Lockout reported that it detected malware on 9% of the smartphones it had scanned. And finally, from January 2005 through February 2011, over 514 million electronic data records in the United States had been breached, exposing a range of personal information, including addresses, social security numbers, health records, and credit card numbers. There are some difficulties in defending against attacks. Basically, these days, devices are universally connected. They're connected 24 hours a day. With modern tools, the speed of attacks has increased, as has the sophistication of the attacks. Also, the attack tools have become available and very simple online. There are much quicker detection of vulnerabilities or weaknesses in the software. There are delays in patching the vulnerabilities. Even when there is a patch, there is a weak distribution of those patches. And these days, attackers can use tens of thousands of computers under their control in a distributed attack. And increasingly, there is user confusion about the attacks and the protections against those attacks. So let's define information security. In general, security may be defined as the necessary steps to protect a person or property from harm. And security simply means preventative measures, rapid response, and in some instances, preemptive attacks. The term information security, therefore, is frequently used to describe the task of securing information in a digital format. First, information security ensures that protective measures are properly implemented. Second, information security is intended to protect information that provides value to people and organizations. There are 3 protections that must be extended over information and can be remembered using the acronym CIA. The C stands for confidentiality. It's important that only approved individuals are able to access information. The I stands for integrity. Integrity ensures that the information is correct and that no unauthorized person or malicious software has altered the data. And availability is the A, meaning information cannot be locked up so tight no one can access it. Otherwise, information would not be useful. In addition, CIA, another set of protections must be implemented to secure information. These are authentication, authorization, and accounting. Authentication ensures that the individual is who they claim to be. Authorization refers to the ability to access the data by authorized people. Accounting simply refers to the tracking of these events. Definitions. Asset is defined as an item that has value. A threat is a type of action that has the potential to cause harm. In information security, threats are events or actions that represent danger to information assets. A threat agent is a person or element that has the power to carry out a threat. A vulnerability is a flaw or weakness that allows a threat agent to bypass security, and exploiting a security weakness is taking advantage of one of those vulnerabilities. The importance of information security includes preventing data theft. Security is often associated with theft prevention. Preventing data from being stolen is often cited by organizations as a primary goal of information security. Individuals are often victims of data thievery. Usually individuals, when their data is stolen, it is an identity theft. Identity theft involves stealing another person's personal information, such as a social security number, and then using that information to impersonate the victim, usually for financial gain. There are reasons to prevent data theft that have legal consequences. Businesses that fail to protect data may face serious financial penalties. The number one, or I guess the first law that went into effect is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, also known as HIPAA. Under this act, healthcare enterprises must guard protected health information and implement policies and procedures to safeguard it, whether it is in paper or electronic format. One of the next acts is called the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, also abbreviated as Sarbox. As a reaction to a rash of corporate fraud, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act is an attempt to fight corporate corruption. The Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, or GLBA, much like HIPAA, it was passed in 1999 to protect private data. And then the state of California has a California's Database Security Breach Notification Act from 2003. This is the first act that was a state law, covers any state agency, person, or company that does business in California. So obviously most of the 50 states do business in California, and it requires notification when there's a breach. Another reason for preventing data theft is the fact that cleaning up after an attack diverts resources such as time and money away from normal activities. You get to juggle all your resources trying to take care of it. And final reason is foiling cyber terrorism. The FBI defines cyber terrorism as any premeditated, politically motivated attack against information, computer systems, programs, and data which results in violence against non-combatant targets by subnational groups or clandestine agents. Now, attackers include the following: hackers. In the past, the term hacker was commonly used to refer to a person who uses advanced computer skills to attack computers. These days, we have a term white hat hacker, whose goal is mainly to expose security flaws and not steal or corrupt data. In contrast, the term black hat hacker is used to refer to attackers whose motive is malicious and destructive. Script kiddies. Basically, script kiddies are individuals who want to break into computers to create damage, and yet they lack sophisticated advanced knowledge of computers and networks. So instead, script kiddies do their work by downloading automated attack software called scripts from websites and using it to perform malicious acts. Spies. A computer spy is a person who's been hired to break into a computer and steal information. Insiders. A serious threat to an organization actually comes from inside employees, contractors, and business partners. In one study of 900 cases of business data leakage, over 48% of the breaches were attributed to insiders who abused their right to access corporate information. Also, cyber criminals. There's a new breed of computer attackers known as cyber criminals. Cyber criminals are a network of attackers, identity thieves, spammers, and financial fraudsters. These cyber criminals are described as being more highly motivated, less risk averse, better funded, and more tenacious than ordinary attackers. And as a final category, we have cyber terrorists. Many security experts fear that terrorists will turn their attacks to a nation's network and computer infrastructure to cause panic among the citizens. Known as cyber terrorists, their motivation may be defined as ideology or attacking for the sake of their principles or beliefs. Some of the steps of an attack would be the initial reconnaissance or scanning, penetration, actually getting through after you find a weak spot, gaining a foothold, appropriating privileges, so basically stealing passwords, upgrading to administrative rights. Then internal reconnaissance, you look around inside. Maintaining a presence might actually include setting up a back door, some kind of easy way to get back in. Then they would look for other systems to infiltrate from that one and maybe do whatever damage or steal whatever information they wanted, and then the mission is accomplished. Some of the defenses that you need to put in to protect data are layering. Information security must be created in layers. If only one defense mechanism is in place, an attacker only has to circumvent that single defense. Instead, a security system must have layers, making it unlikely that an attacker has the tools and skills to break through all the layers of defenses. Limiting. Limiting access to information reduces the threat against it. This means that only those personnel who must use the data should have access to it. Diversity. Layers must be diverse. Usually products made by different manufacturers. This will require different techniques for each layer. Some organizations use security products provided by many different manufacturers. Obscurity, sometimes called security by obscurity. Obscuring to the outside world what is known on the inside, what is on the inside, makes the attacks much more difficult. And simplicity. Complex security systems can be hard to understand, hard to troubleshoot, and hard even to feel secure about. As much as possible, a secure system should be simple for those on the inside to understand and use. And as always, calm and document everything.